war and invasion.
Frank, thank you very much. Frank Gardner there. The Bank of England has revealed for the first time that it provided almost £62 billion of emergency loans to the Royal Bank of Scotland and HBOS in October and November last year. The information wasn't released at the time because of fears that it would provoke a loss of confidence in the banks. The Liberal Democrats have described it as a shocking cover-up, as our chief economics correspondent Hugh Pym now reports.
Dramatic scenes like this outside Northern Rock followed news of rescue cash from the Bank of England. Today we learned that last year two other big names, RBS and HBOS, also needed emergency loans, but they were kept secret.
Well, it's shocking. It's a cover-up. And Parliament and the public have been treated like children. We've been stopped from seeing the full horror movie of what happened during the bank collapse and rescue.
The high street banking system was shaken last autumn. In mid-September, the American bank Lehman collapsed and that dented confidence. Lloyds, led by Sir Victor Blank, announced a takeover of HBOS to save it from going under. The deal was encouraged by Gordon Brown. In mid-October, BBC News was reporting unprecedented taxpayer bailouts.
The end of an era for British banking. Some of the biggest names go cap in hand to the government.
But Lloyds shareholders still voted through the HBOS deal at a meeting in November. What shareholders didn't know was that for much of that time, HBOS was receiving secret emergency loans from the Bank of England, designed to keep it alive. The government knew about it, but savers and investors didn't. What's become clear today is that we weren't told at the time because of fears about a wider collapse of confidence. The authorities feared another Northern Rock-style run on a high street bank. So from early October last year, HBOS was receiving secret funding to the tune of £25.4 billion. And it wasn't the only one. RBS was also being propped up with nearly £37 billion to make a total of nearly £62 billion of emergency loans. The money's since been repaid, but the consequences are still being felt today. Stan Grierson is a Lloyds shareholder. His shares have plunged because the HBOS deal proved to be disastrous. He's angry it went through.
HBOS was practically bust. At a government initiative, the two came together and it has pulled Lloyds down. That is what it has done.
And Lloyds shareholders are entitled to some explanations, according to one opposition MP.
Well, I'm outraged. It meant that at the time that Lloyds merged with HBOS, it meant that Lloyds shareholders weren't aware of the true borrowings of HBOS. And why should these figures have been kept secret from Parliament and the public?
Ministers say it was the Governor of the Bank of England who decided the loans should be kept secret till now.
When the Royal Bank of Scotland and HBOS approached the Bank of England, the Governor decided that the support they required was best provided covertly. The Bank of England Act allows the Governor to make those decisions. The Governor, however, referred the matter to the Chancellor of the Exchequer, who confirmed that he was in agreement.
But some in the financial markets, as well as Westminster, might well be asking how many more revelations will there be about last year's banking crisis. Hugh Pym, BBC News.
Became apparent. Hundreds of thousands of savers had the value of their policies cut.
Well, thousands of investors are trying to recoup some of their losses from the government, and one of them is the actress Honor Blackman, who's promising Gordon Brown he has a fight on his hands. And she joins us now. Very good morning to you.
Good morning.
And it's not just that you're taking up this cudgel on behalf of other people, you're personally affected.
Yes, I mean, I'm fortunate in a way, in as much as I'm still able to work and recoup some of my losses. But there are so many people who were cut off in their prime, so to speak, and now they're, what, 60 or something like that, and you know how difficult it is to get a job at such an age.
Tell us what happened in your case.
Well, in my case, I bought my pension in the 90s, and already in the 90s they were aware that they were technically insolvent. In fact, in November 1999, I bought mine. They knew then that they were going to the wall, and we were all going to the wall, and yet they had a great spending spree. Well, the salesmen were asked to get lots more policies. But who was that for? That was to make sure that I think that they were safe, but the rest of us were going to lose our money. And mine has been cut in half, and each year it's dwindling, so very shortly it'll be gone altogether.
So people's savings, their pension savings, there was a pot of money that was cut dramatically, and it's literally getting smaller all the time.
Yes, absolutely. And there are people now who are having to take benefit, who are having to sell their houses. I mean, the misery that's been caused is fantastic.
What are you seeking? Because people...
full compensation
from the government.
Seeking. Yes, yes indeed. They were going to give us full compensation in 2001, I think it was. And then Howard Davis, the head of the FSA, said, oh, you can't do that because that will be to admit that our regulator has failed. Well, he manifestly did fail, you know, but in order that we shouldn't know how much they'd failed, they've covered that all up over the years.
What is your plan then to press for action to get this full compensation? How are you hoping to go about this?
Well, we're hoping to shame the government because for 9 years now it's been smoothed over and kicked into the long grass, and it's about time that they coughed up. I mean, they saved the Icelandic investors to the tune of $5 billion. That is a foreign bank, and it isn't regulated in this country, and yet they can't compensate us.
Do you see a paradox between what's happened with bankers and the amount of money that's pumped into that system and the people you're representing now?
I sure do. I mean, if you fail with the banks, they behave so badly, and we've hurled all our hard-earned money at the banks. And now the people who've actually behaved responsibly and provided for their futures, we can sink as far as the government is concerned.
And this isn't just about coming on television talking about it. I mean, you're active in the protest outside Parliament, wasn't there?
Well, and it was symbolic in as much as we had 15 coffins at the protests that we did, because 15 people belonging to Equitable Life die every day uncompensated, and one can't help thinking that an awful lot of those deaths are exacerbated by the fact that they are worried and miserable in their old age. It's really disgusting, and it's time that Gordon Brown did something about it.
So when you speak to other people who have been affected, is that what you get a sense of, the sense of
the
depression?
Outrage is fantastic, yes, fantastic, and rightly so. I mean, it's so maddening. All the people who, through the years, bought things that they couldn't afford and got into debt, and the people who are thoroughly responsible like us, we can sink as far as they're concerned.
Well, thank you ever so much for coming on to talk to us about it, Honor Blackman, and I'm sure we'll be talking to you again. It sounds like this...
It's a possibility, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for now.